Well, hello everyone. Sorry for being a little bit late. We're having issues with the chat this morning, about 2 minutes late. I can see chat window, I just can't reply in chat window. So I was trying to fix that, and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to. But we're here, so that's good. How's everybody? What's the on the docket for today? And there is sound, absolutely, absolutely. What's on the docket today for you guys? I know it's Memorial Day. It's also Klee Day. So as you are remembering those who have fallen, go and support your local vendor. Good morning, Petty and Kenny, Clownhammer, Joel Heim, Gergman, Nathan, Wake Central. Good morning. Working on a holiday? No, I'm off today. We are streaming on a holiday because I really want to get moving on this project. And we didn't stream yesterday. So we moved yesterday's stream to today. We'll go for, I don't know, 2-3 hours. We'll go by feel. We get to a point where, I don't know, I get frustrated enough, or you know, we are just not interested anymore, then we'll call it. But definitely got a barbecue going on today. There's a pool party here in a couple of hours that we're doing, so we'll get as much done in the time that we have. Streaming is work. Streaming does take a little bit of work, but it's no more work than any other thing that we do, right? So if you do maintenance on the car, you cut the grass, you landscape, you do projects around the house, it's no more work than any of that stuff. Making dinner. Oh, wow. You must be in Europe. Hey, Spectrum. R Square K3D, good morning. Skyrim, good morning. Hey, Kittrell. Yeah, all is well. All is well. Not sure what's going on with chat today. It's just not catching up. Trying to decide if you go in more debt on your credit card to buy the Trident. Which Trident are you looking at? Pool party barbecue. You said what? You got a brisket and hot hold. Okay, I like it. Not exactly sure what we're doing. I know the wife went to the commissary yesterday and got a bunch of stuff. I don't really exactly know what her plan is, but I did see hot dog buns, so I have a feeling there's gonna be some sausages around. Now we all know where the Ambrosia ASA went. I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing to see over here. 300Q, nice. That's like a 300 Trident's kind of the perfect size. It really is. You could do a lot of projects with a 300 build here. 350, you start to get it a little too big, and it's only a slight increase in volume, but the machine is just so much bigger and heavier. My Trident 350 is also a Doom frame, so it's bigger, 40/40. It's heavier as well. Hey, Kenneth Davis. But Spectra, only you know if you're going to be able to do a Trident 300. Yeah, but I didn't buy all of it, Barton Fink, Chad. I got... This is stuff that I've had for a while. This stuff here behind me, and then this stuff here, just off frame. I don't know what that is exactly. Oh yeah, some other Cosmic Shimmer ASA. But I've not bought Filament in maybe 2 or 3 months. 300 is what you have. Yeah, 300 is a good size. 250, you just want to play around and do a project. You can get a lot done with a 250 as well. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of the commercial off-the-shelf printers that are supposed to just print out of the box are 250-ish size. It's very common for like a tabletop machine. Once you start to get 350, 400, and that kind of thing, you want to put that thing on casters, dead on the floor, and just it's a lot more involved. You have a lot more room for activities, but you're going to lose some space. So I don't have very many large machines. Well, maybe even get ahead of myself on that one, but I'm starting to get back into smaller machines these days. Tall boy trident, that'd be cool. You mean like a 400 tall? Because with a 300 cube, that's already 300. I find, at least for me, I don't print a lot of tall things that couldn't fit in a 250 Z height. I think some of the tallest stuff I've ever printed has been like, man, maybe like 265 or so. So a 300 cube is like perfect for what I print. And those are like decorative, like trophies and things like this guy here, right? So this is just a little trophy that I need to finish up. But this is, less than 200. So maybe top to bottom. Yeah, less than 150 actually. Top to bottom on that guy. So that's kind of the tallest things I print. Common Crispy. Think about turning your 2.4 350 into a Trident R2. Never got the 2. Well, Kenny, I mean, if the 2.4 is not working for you, the frame should work. Should be able to use a lot of your stuff. I don't know what the extrusions on the gantry, I don't know the length of those. I don't know if you'll be able to swap them one for one. But you could cut new ones if you needed to. The bed should work if you got one of the more modern beds that are drilled for both Trident and 2.4. But that's a lot of work and a lot of printing to swap over everything. You have a lot of extra parts, and you still need integrated Z motors. Should go with the 350. You already printed the parts for the 300, but you do have about 8. Yeah, Spectra, the 350, what is that, like an extra $100? It'll give you a little more capacity, but especially if you already have 8 Mark 3s and 4s in core, yeah, the bed is a rose. I think you meant a Mandela Roseworks. Yeah, again though, like if it's drilled for both machines, great. If not, you have to replace the bed too, and then you start to add additional costs. Only have to reprint the 250 skirts. Well, Spectra, if you printed everything for a 300, then you would need to print the 350 stuff. Your skirts are not going to exactly line up. You're going to have gaps in between them. I think the only one that is standard between all 3 sizes is the standard size one. The fill panels that go in between this and the foot would be longer or shorter depending on the size of printer you're making. If in doubt, check the CAD. But yeah, 250 to 350, not the same. Cool. All right. Well, what do you guys say we get into this project a little bit? For those that didn't catch the member stream, we did only a little bit of stuff. We made this, this wire for the nudge. We installed the bed with some standoffs. And then I did some extension of the AB motors. And then I was going to try and do the power supply wiring back here, but I didn't get any spade terminals and totally forgot this weekend already again. So you want a working rig for Index when it comes out in the next decade? Kenny, I'm right behind you. One of the next builds that we do will be a Trident side pack. I've got a frame over there. And when we do that side pack, that's going to be my Index machine. I really want to do that project. It's going to be so much fun. I just got to wait for them to come back in stock whenever that happens. Kenny, I agree with Petty here. That 2.4 to Trident's you can do it. It's a lot of work. It will save you only a little bit over just building a new machine altogether, but it really depends on what you have and what you need. It may be better just to have an entire second build, or even better, get your 2.4 running right. And if you need help with that, just reach out to me. 300 to 250, Yeah, for the most part, the skirt sizes are different. So all of your gantry would be the same. Your feet, your corners would be the same. The outside skirt pieces, those are going to be the ones that are different. Spectra. So should be same motor mounts, same Z screw mounts, same bed mounts. Yeah, so if you're going 300 down to a 250, yeah, it would be the 4 skirts front and back, and then 4 left and right. I was also looking at West 3D sales. Yeah, I was looking at that too. I mean, let's do it. This is like a chill stream. I am less excited about doing building and a little more excited about doing some chatting with you all. I miss you guys. Okay, so yeah, there's a big sale going on this weekend, and if you click on the banner, you'll get 10% off of LDO kits. Okay, and then if you order a 2.4, you get some BFI and BZI. You can get an LDO Trident kit and get 50% off a backbone. So I come in and I look for an LDO kit for a Trident. They're in stock. They're about $1,200, which is not a bad deal for this. And that's including a pie. You can make it a little cheaper by taking the pie away and then removing the hot end. Let's say you have some of that stuff already at home. You have a spare hot end and you have another Raspberry Pi that you're willing to use. You're going to take $100 off the cost. So really it's $1,100, and that's for a 250. They do not have the 350 in this particular kit. But these are the available colors. So you can get a red 250, which will look pretty nice. You can make it like my Christmas V0 that I printed and built back around Christmas time. But I like the 300 cube. It's a good size. It's a really good size. Looked it up, and Backbone does not work with Trident R2. Why not? Why would it not work? I'm not tracking that. Because really, like, I have the Backbone on the 250 that we did, the Legacy fork. And that one it has a backbone on it. And really all the Backbone does is allow a solid mounting point for your Z motors, and then adds some mass lower down in the printer. So you get a little bit of dropping of your center of mass. I don't understand why R2 would be different per AI, so it could be wrong. Because I understood that the majority of the changes for R2, and I am not the expert on this, you got to talk to Steve about it. The majority of the changes with R2 are in the gantry and the front idlers. I'm not sure that the motors change or not. I don't know that to be true or not. So you could be absolutely right. I don't know enough about it. Steve is the expert. Maybe text him. Hey, Timur. The steppers are mounted lower in R2. Okay, so they just moved down. I mean, and if that's the case, if they're just moving down, like lower, like what you're saying, BLGLI, I don't know how to pronounce it. Bilgly? I don't know. If they're just mounted lower, all you would need to do is like add some spacers in there to mount them lower. That's all. These steppers don't mount from top. They mount to the inside of the frame below. Okay. But I mean, if they're in the relative same position, it should be fine then. You're just changing the way it mounts. So I don't know if that mount interferes with the deck plate, but as long as they don't stick up above the frame, then I feel like it should still work, even if they aren't mounted to the backbone. So again, no experience on it. I don't have R2 parts. I've not done an R2. No clue. I'm just trying to think through some of the process. Okay. So I think where we left off, and I want to put some tape on these so I stop losing these quote, no drop nuts that keep dropping. So I'm going to take some blue painter's tape and put it on top of the frame. These no drop nuts keep falling out. Are there R2 parts even? No, they're not. So Spectra, if you're going to build new, I would just hold off until Steve gets back from Japan and see if we get a little closer to having R2 parts out. When they come out, though, I'm probably going to print a bunch. Well, we'll see when they come out. I still need to move, so I'm not doing a whole lot of printing or collecting parts or anything like that. Right now, it's only necessities until I move. So no new builds, just existing projects for the next month. All right, that helps. We didn't drop little nuts everywhere. Okay, flipping that over lets me get under the bed here. I'm trying to get you a good shot of what's going on. There we go. I think that's pretty good. So you can see we have bed fans. I could probably drop this a little. All right, so we have bed fans that we need to run wiring for. This is for the nudge. And then this is for the bed itself. So all of that needs to come through this really thin cable chain, and I don't know that that's going to work well. So with that in mind, I might not use this cable chain. I have not found a solution that would allow me to do something else, but I haven't looked a whole hell of a lot, so we'll see. How's this better than the salad fork? Just curious. Lupao Christian, better. It looks better. I mean, really, that's the answer. It is a salad fork. The parts are just a little more angular. So this is the one of the AB motor mounts, specifically the B motor. Oh, sorry, the A motor. And so this hexagon here allows for a double shear. So you can put a small bearing in here and get double shear on your motors. Allows you to run a little bit higher belt tension without worrying about bending your motor shaft. And then you can see that the parts in themselves are just a little more angular. This is a little different. These are SkeleFork pieces. The front idlers are a little bit different. So overall, not crazy different, but noticeably different. I also took the liberty of adding bed fans, which normal salad fork does not have. It also doesn't have inverted electronics on normal salad fork. On this build, we do. The skirts are slightly different. So, stealth look only, the skirts especially. For the most part, yeah. It's still going to be a salad fork, but what we're doing with it is we're adding Mad Max, which is going to make it a tool changer. Seeing the Steve interview talking about R2 and index triggered the interest. It should. I mean, Steve is very good at making people have FOMO. Happy Clee Day, Keep 3DP. Do I recommend Micron or salad fork? Ooh, Joel, I have both. So this is the salad fork build. It's a little simpler, but there's a 180 Micron over there. Shall I grab it and show you guys? I built it maybe 2 years ago. Haven't used it a whole lot in the last few months, but the Micron's pretty cool. Let's do a little compare. I like answering questions and talking shop. That's why we're here. So this is our salad fork, right? Let me grab the Micron. I'll try to grab the Micron without making a huge mess. Around, and keep in mind, this is a Micron. I don't want to say beta, but not the revised parts. R1, I think it's what it's called. This does not have R1 parts. It only has the standard parts. So it is serialed and all of that, but this one is roughly 3 years ago I built. So there's my Micron. Let's see if we can move the camera to get you a better shot. Man, I'm out of breath moving that little thing. So here we go. Micron and SkeleFork together. You can see two different styles. But really it's the same. You're talking V2 versus Trident. And in the larger borons, it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of difference between the two. Trident's a little more simple because it has fewer stepper motors. You're just dealing with 5 plus an extruder. Over here, you're dealing with 6 plus an extruder. And so a little more complicated to build Z drives down below and all that. But you can see there's clearly a height difference between the two. So it might come down to how much headroom you have. Yeah, I don't know, but this is my metal Micron. Isn't it recommended to put the electronics normally? I heard about some problems about the center of gravity. Electronics normally, what do you mean? So mine are inverted, which brings the center of mass down below. So imagine your center of gravity is a ball. By putting more weight at the lower end, you move this ball down, which is always what you want for stability. But the disadvantage is if all of your motion is up high, the center of mass being so low down here makes you kind of wobble and wave like this at the top, kind of like a tree blowing in the wind. And so for something like this on a printer with the gantry up high and you're moving a lot of mass, it may not be as beneficial to move that center of gravity down. It really just depends on what you're doing. This does not have the R1 upgrade. This has the standard upgrade before R1 was a thing. And so, no, it needs an upgrade. But when I do that, I'm going to do a full color change as well. Right now, this is dark blue and it's supposed to be gold, but it looks more like a caramel kind of color. I wasn't thrilled with it. I can show you the new colors we're going to go with. I've got R1 parts printed for this somewhere. Yeah, so I have an entire box of R1 upgrades here that I need to get to, and so there's the umbilical board for it. There's an R1 update kit for it. So I'm ready to go. I have the things, I just don't have the time. And so what we're gonna go with as far as color is something like this. So this is LDO teal. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's their dark teal. And then this is Fusion, oh man, UV reactive something. It's not the same yellow that we're using here. This one is slightly darker, but I forget the name of it. It's a Fusion filament. And that's gonna be the color for that. And then I think that looks pretty good with that space gray frame. So there are always projects in the background that need to happen. It's just scheduling it out. So that's why it's good to subscribe and be a member to the channel, because you guys get to see that kind of stuff first. Thinking of building a Micron since you have a Trident? Yeah, do it up. Micron is going to cost you as much as a full-size V2.4, probably like a 350, or, well, maybe a 250 V2.4. It's going to cost you roughly the same, but it's going to be smaller. So, you know, keep it in mind. Fiscally, a V2.4 in the 250 size makes more sense than the Micron. It's also going to be an easier build because 1515 is hard to work with already. So if I were a responsible builder and I was going to build one and I had room for a 250, I might just do a V2.4 250 instead of a Micron. Even though this is cool, it makes more sense. Like not inverted electronics. Not really, it will shake more. Crazy colors. Space Gray frame works with everything. Yeah, just about, except for this. I don't like this. Maybe it's the quote gold ABS I used. I don't like it though. But yeah, it's got the metal plate gantry on it. So this is tiny shell scripts. This is his setup. So these are just 3mm aluminum plate here, and then idlers up front, and then the tensioners are here in the back. It's also got metal CNC'd, I don't even know what you call these, Z-blocks, and then metal XY joiners here. So the gantry is pretty rigid. It does have a lightweight extrusion, not even extrusion, a lightweight X-axis, and it works fine. I just haven't really used it a whole lot. This is an LDO kit. One of their kits back when they had, it came with just a frame, some linear rails, a bed, that kind of thing, but it did not have electronics. It did not come with motion components, anything like that. So this is due for an update. Anyway, we'll put this back. Cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever shown the Micron on stream before. So thanks for asking that question. You wouldn't choose CNC over printed parts? Why not? I think if you were going to build a machine and only update firmware and never update parts themselves as R1, R2, R3 come out, and your machine is just going to be the way that it is forever, CNC might make more sense. If you're a person that likes to update the printer as new parts become available, CNC is less good of an idea because those parts are expensive and they don't normally keep up. All right, so we've got that there. I need to run some bed wiring and that kind of thing. All right, so let's flip this back over. The weight difference between those two look like 2 to 1. It looks that way. They're roughly the same. They're roughly the same. The SkeleFork's a little bit taller because you do need the headroom above, but yeah, they're about the same. There are one additional motor in the Micron, so technically the Micron is, you know, a few ounces heavier than this one. Color me boring. Only 3 colors I use for printer builds are black, dark gray, and red. Hey, Timur, if that's your jam, do it, man. Don't let anybody yuck your yum. All right, let me add some zip ties here to start routing some of this. For those that may be interested in picking up some stuff from Cleday, if you go to West 3D and you're going to get a Trident, there are affiliate codes that you can use. So if you use Killa_prints, that'll get you 5% off what you buy, in addition to the Cleday deals that you see. So if you're going to do it today, I'd appreciate it. Helps me out, helps the channel, and then gets you a little bit of a discount. This is one of the configurator builds. So West 3D is really cool. They do configurators for not all the Vorons, but definitely the SkeleFork, the Micron, and your V2 and Trident. Those configurators can delay your shipping a little bit because that takes someone assembling all of these parts and pieces into a box, into a kit, and then making sure that you get all of your selections. But it gives you full control over what you get as far as hardware. Does cost you a little more, obviously, because there is that manual process of assembling all the things. But again, you get exactly what you want without having to upgrade down the road. Because aluminum changes shape when it's hot and can affect the motion system. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. It can do that. You're not wrong. But again, it's all in what you want. It's all in what you want. And when things do change shape and you get this wobbly thing, basically all that does is you can have a perfectly flat bed. It adds peaks and valleys to the bed surface in firmware. That's what it looks like, even though it's the gantry that's moving. But I would argue, Lupao, that your modern day bed leveling, bed tramming devices, things like Beacon and Cartographer, can adjust for that using the Eddy probe system that they have. So
thanks for the sub.
I don't know that it's that big of a deal when you can compensate in firmware for it. Does that make sense? Man, I'm wondering, like, do I really want to? Because I think I may be able to get these bed wires through here, but I know that I still have tool head wiring I need to get installed somehow. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this cable chain, guys. I'll figure out something over the next couple of days, but yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that. Okay. What else can we do here? Let's do some zip tying of these wires. We need to terminate these wires, but I don't necessarily want to make them shorter until I know the actual solution. So we'll extend out this. Gonna run this inside of the channel as much as I can. I thought there were little zip tie mounts that I can put into 1515. I'm not sure that I printed any of those. And then also our, so I got this from the SkeleFork, sorry, the StealthFork repo, and modified it in Fusion to allow 2 ports because we are going to do two tool heads. So I deleted a lot of the extra stuff, added a second port here, and then this cover is supposed to cover a small printed ball that serves as a swivel for your PTFE tube. That ball is not large enough and comes right through the hole. So here's the printed ball portion. And so what's supposed to happen is as that's mounted, this goes here like so. And so you get this swivel action of the ball for your PTFE tube. Okay. So I don't know what I did in Fusion, but this bracket is supposed to hold that ball in place, and it just comes right out. So I think that I need to decrease the size of this hole so that when I mount this on, we don't lose our balls. So that's another modification I need to make. There we go. There's the zip tie mount. I did print it. So these are just little zip tie mounts with a hole in the center. Focus camera. Doesn't like it. Doesn't want to focus at all. But you can kind of see it. There we go. Probably wouldn't drive almost 2 hours one way to pick one up. I would. Spectra. You hate CarPlay. Finally can watch. You can put the the printed stuff. Hey, R2K3D, thanks for the sub. Sorry, I'm missing a lot. I'm over here yapping instead of reading you guys. Trying to decide between V0 SkeleFork, went SkeleFork 180, have a rook, and V0 size feels too small. Okay. Yeah, 180 is going to be an incremental change for you. It's not going to be life-changing, but incremental change for sure. So that goes like that. And I thought that I had another nut in there, and I do not. I do not. And getting one in there is not as easy as I thought, so. Okay. We'll run this down the side. We'll zip tie things together back here. Everybody mad about bamboo? Warren's are the only printers with cool aluminum beds that are not laminated, and they are very thick. The deviation is very, very small. Yes. You can put the printed stuff to hold the cables. Yes. Probably like where are you trying to drive, Spectre? Where you would get where you would pick up a printer. I drove 3 hours on Saturday afternoon to go see Reth and hang out with him and his family. It's always good to see folks from the community. Reth is our super smart input shaper guy. He's also he also runs 3D printing elves with his wife Allison, and so they do that nonprofit. And he's the one that we partnered up with to do a raffle back in December. Hey, John. I've been designing a 3D printer and the algorithm sent you here. What are we working on? We are working on a SkeleFork 180. SkeleFork is a derivative of the Voron ecosystem. It uses a smaller 1515 frame. And this particular build is going to be a tool changer. So we've got one tool head here, and then we have a matching one that I still need to finish wiring over here. And this particular machine will be able to swap heads. So I'll be able to run, you know, let's say a red filament through this one and a blue one through here, and I can have a double colored print. Or you can use one for support material and one for, I don't know, whatever material you would like, and do it that way. But it'll be a tool changer. This particular size could run probably up to 4, I would think. I think we can get 4 on here. Let's try. Yeah, you can get 4 on here pretty comfortably. So you could do up to 4 colors and 4 tool heads. But with this Mad Max system, you're kind of limited to 2 unless you want to create some custom docks. But you could do that, and you could run 4. So does Mrs. KP have any interest in 3D printers or the kids? Kenny, no. Granite for building the printer? Yeah. Color and shape reminds you of the GameCube. Yeah, the GameCube is that's some pretty cool tech. They need to bring that back. I would love to see a GameCube again. All right, but no, Kenny, she does not have any interest in 3D printers. She is interested that I am interested, and that's kind of where we leave it. She loves that I 3D print and will often ask for stuff, but she does not partake. She's just happy that I'm happy. She does sewing and arts and crafty type stuff. Like crickets and yoga and gardening. She has like 37 hobbies. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of what the new hobby of the month is. I try to limit mine to just this, and then what is it? The fitness stuff. So I like to do hard things. So John, I'd like to know, since you're new here and you're just kind of browsing and the algorithm sent you over, what printer are you looking at designing? Is it something small like this? Are we talking about a I don't know, tool changer or anything like that? I always like new designs and building different things. That's very much your wife. I think that's a lot of our wives. I don't know what it is about these females, but they love to collect hobbies, do them for a month and then abandon, right? Like it's you know, hey, I'm gonna start this new thing and we're gonna invest like a couple grand into getting me all these things and getting me set up. And, you know, us as supportive spouses, we're like, yeah, let me help you do that. And so we participate in the furthering of, just for them to get bored after a month and move on to something else. It's fun. It's a fun game to play. Uh-oh, LTX sending over some new photos of things and stuff. So LTX, I'm not sure if he's in chat today, but has quickly become my new CNC person. So like for panels or parts or really kind of anything that you need to CNC or laser, LTX is a great resource and has done a really good job on stuff for me and this channel. Definitely can recommend his services if you're in need of things. All right, so bring this one back down. There we go. Okay. So I'm not going to be able to use that cable chain, but I think we could do like an umbilical style wrap of cables back here. So like this. This would normally be in a chain, but there's so much cable here, I don't believe that's going to fit through a chain. And I still need one more wire for the bed fans themselves. So like this. You had to get bread. Hy-Vee was very busy. Get used to that chain and all. So that's funny you say that. The wife was telling me about Hy-Vee and she asked me had I ever been there. I was like, nope, never even heard of her. And like we were kind of wondering about that. But if it's busy, like you say, is it like a Buc-ee's kind of grocery store type thing, or like what, like H-E-B in Texas? I've never heard of a Hy-Vee, but I know that we have one. I don't know, a couple miles from the new place we're going to. You're gonna say hobbies can get a bit expensive just in tools. Yeah, they're. I mean, you guys can't see all the tools in this. So on top of my workbench is this granite slab. That's what you're seeing. It's a lot of the backdrop of what we do here. But it's sitting on a toolbox that's full of stuff. And I can tell you that there are many hundreds of dollars worth of tools in here. Multiples of hundreds. You just collect things over time. Like you don't have to go get every tool today. Get the most common stuff that you absolutely need. It means that you may have to figure out other ways of doing things. And then as time allows, as the budget allows, you expand your toolkit little by little, gathering more specialized tools over time. You don't have to do it all today. Don't worry about it. So I do have Wagos for these bed fans, so I'm gonna strip this a little bit longer. Wagos recommend 11 millimeters of exposed wire to ensure you get a good connection and contact. So I have just stripped back roughly 11 millimeters. Building a little micro printer with these linear actuators you found on AliExpress, hoping for a 10 by 10 by 10 volume. That's tiny. I'm gonna start with 0.1 millimeter FDM. No, what? That's wild. That's really cool. I don't know if you make content or not, but if you post anything about that, I would love to see it. Then you might try resin deposition or bio inks. That sounds fun. A boron 0.2 would be easier and cheaper. Yeah, but it wouldn't be as fun. Sometimes we build things because we like to build things, not because they are the most intelligent option. Ooh, damn it. Hit my head on the camera there. Sorry. But definitely know about that. Not everything I do is the most logical. So I'm just connecting. I have both bed fans connected to one side of a 2-pin Wago. And then I'm just going to run one wire back to secure power and ground for both bed fans. These are just 4010 blower fans. They're pretty low power. So going to one wire versus 4 wires back is desirable. And then as you put these into your Wagos, and I know that's difficult to see, just give them a little tug. Make sure that they're grabbing on like they should be. And you're not going to end up in a loose wire situation. Because I'll tell you, that's frustrating. Yeah, just a little tug. And the wire I'm using is already twisted. So it makes it a little easier to keep things together. But you could add a heat shrink to it. You could do a lot of different things to secure your wires down. So we'll do that, and let's just roughly measure this out. Let's make sure we have enough to get to our board, and that should be fine. We'll cut off some excess later, call it good. The actuators are only $3 each. There you go. It's just a grocery chain, expensive usually, but they have great meat sales. I bet they do. I'm headed to Buc-ee's right now because of boredom. Hey, go have fun at Buc-ee's for me. I love Buc-ee's. My kids love Buc-ee's. It's one of the better options out there. Oh, I shouldn't have slammed that so hard. Shook my camera. Sorry, team. Sorry if you got sick. If you have a sensitive body. Good Chinese and restaurant as well inside the store. Very cool. I'm gonna check it out. I come with stepper, thread, rod, and linear rod, all aluminum body. Very cool. Or you see cool stuff on my channel or Steve Builds. Aw, thanks. I try to do cool stuff. I do things that I'm interested in, and hopefully other people are interested in, but I know not everything I do is for every single person. Good morning, Moji. Corey, how are things? Disappointed in Buc-ee's jerky when you went to Rocky Mountain to dry it up. Well, I mean, it's not like made in the store. Buc-ee's are hit or miss, had great jerky and some not so great. Packaged jerky, yeah. Packaged jerky is pretty consistent, but I think a lot of people just go for the beaver nuggets and the brisket. Making it, Corey. Still recovering from the weekend, and we're about to go to a pool party and barbecue too. So I don't know how recovered I'm gonna remain. Love the frame. Yeah, this frame is from Pathetic Puma. So if you go to Focal Point Laser Engraving, you can mail him a frame of any size. Well, I say any size. He does have a limit on his laser, but you can mail him your frame, and he will engrave whatever you desire onto that frame. I chose to go with the printer for ants and SkeleFork logos. That's what all this pattern is. On camera, you may not be able to see it as clearly. It may look like polka dots or something, but it's definitely not. It's alternating printer for ants and SkeleFork logos. Yeah, so even this this bracket where normally you would attach your Z chain is getting full as I put all of these through. So to make this a little easier, I'm going to take it off. Take this off, rotate it a little bit so that I can get this last 2-pin wire through here. There we go. And then rotate it back into place and we can secure that down. How have you made that pattern? Lupao, it was not me. Again, it was Pathetic Puma at Focal Point Engraving. Made the pattern for me and laser engraved it onto the frame for me. I am not a laser guy, so I don't know exactly the kind that you need to do that. I don't know if it's like a UV laser or a MOPA or whatever, but he's the expert. He did it for me, and it's been great. All right, so I'm gonna add a little label to this before I forget. So we get our handy dandy label machine here. We're gonna say one is bed fans, and then our other one coming from up there is our nudge. You gotta spell it correctly. And let's make sure I get the right stuff. Yes, white heat shrink. You remember seeing the close-up photos? Yeah. Yes, laser engraved. Yeah. Do it up. It's a really cool it's a really cool aesthetic when you can add some custom flair to an already flared out machine. It just elevates it a little bit more. And realistically, I had not thought of it either. He reached out to me and asked me if I was interested in doing something like that. And so I sent him a couple of ideas. We went back and forth a little bit and ended up on this. So for what it's worth, if you can get it done, you should do it. And if not, reach out to Focal Point Engraving and they'll do it for you. It's this one, okay. Add some heat to this. I don't know if that's the right spot, but I don't want it to fall off either. So just shrink it down a touch. Should be able to slide it into position after we trim the length on these wires. Look at that. Bed fans. So Lapal, what are you building right now, or planning to build? It sounds like you're planning, or in the planning stages of your next printer. Ooh, before I forget, we're almost at the 1 hour mark. Before I forget, make sure that you're clicking the pinned chat, the link pinned in chat, to get into the filament giveaway. We give away 1 spool of LDO filament every stream, every public stream. And today is that day. So if you like free filament and you've never tried LDO filament, which is pretty damn good, click the link and maybe you'll win today. Okay. Got all of that. Wiring is loosely routed to where we need it to be. We're going to leave stepper motors long as well, but I do need to make labels. So the one thing I don't like about my label maker is there's about an inch of just wasted label every time I print something on either end. So before it starts printing words, it will waste an inch, and then on the back side it does the same. So versus wasting this, I have Sharpies that I use to just write on. And in this particular case, I had a black one. There we go. Have some fine point Sharpies. And I'll just write on here like A motor or something. I'll just write A on one, and on the other end that was cut off, I'll write B, and that way I can label my steppers. With the cutoffs without wasting too much material. And how you know is, like, if we were looking at the front of the printer, it's B and A. So this is B motor, this is A motor. You have to stop doom scrolling Facebook. Yeah, you do, Clown Hammer. Yeah, you do. You should be like at a pool party right now. Making a monolith gantry 2-wheel drive on your SVOA, that new Ender 3 switch wire from Seaboard called Boom, and a 2.4 350 tool changer. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. So this is our B motor. Yeah, we have a couple of cool projects coming up here on Member Stream on Friday. We showed off some of those. So if you haven't been seeing those and you are a member, you should go back and watch at least last week, or not last, I guess it was last week because Sunday is the start of the week. Go to Friday's stream, the most recent one, and take a look at some of the upcoming projects. There are some interesting things out there. I miss pool parties. I mean, you can have a pool party if you like. Make a friend, or go to the YMCA, or to the. We're going to the community pool, so it's not like I'm going, you know, out back or anything. Our community has a community center with a little bit of an arcade, and then behind all of that, there's a pool. And it just opened, I think, on Thursday. And so we're going to take the kids to do that. And probably come back here and grill out and do normal Memorial Day stuff. And then I go back to work tomorrow, so got to get it while I can. All right. Both are roughly labeled. We can improve that later. These are bed wires. I mean, you can label your bed stuff. I normally do. So let's do some of that. I mean, they're pretty identifiable. The white ones are your live and your neutral for your mains heated bed, and then the two small solid red wires are your thermistor for your bed. So probably not necessarily if you can figure that out, but thanks for the sub. Like to. And so I'm thinking about like cable routing and cable tying and all this stuff. And I think what I'm gonna just do is, because there's a little bit of space around this extrusion on the bed, there's a little bit of space between the bed and the extrusion. I think just keeping it simple and doing a zip tie around there is going to just be fine. And so that little printed piece, normally you would put a bolt through this and put it down, but instead of taking it apart and then trying to put a no drop nut in there and then put it all back together, I think I'm just going to add in this little piece. So I'm routing the zip tie through the bracket and then around the frame, and just using the bracket itself to hold the wiring in to the cable. I'm sorry, not the cable, the channel of the extrusion there. And that seems to work. And then it still leaves me another place to zip tie if I need to. And I think I'm okay with that. This other end can be added in with everything else that we have over here. So let's turn this way. Let's see if we can get a good shot on what I'm doing, like right there. Let's move this in. Yeah, so I just took the printed part and went through the hole, but around the extrusion that holds the plastic down, which holds the wire in the channel. And then there are 2 zip tie points here for the bed. I could have ran this together with those and then through, but instead I'm just going to zip tie them back here. So I put one on and then forgot that I needed to run that other wire. So we'll just get rid of this guy, sacrifice him to the round bin, and then we can just connect the rest of this stuff right here. Just make like a bundle. Like that. And that'll all move together. It's away from moving components, so I don't have to worry about it chafing on anything. That's the biggest thing you want to watch out for when you're routing wiring, is to try to keep it away from moving parts. You don't want it rubbing on things. Happy Memorial Day, Keela, and thanks for being a member for 8 whole months. Happy Monday, Zombie. Thanks for being here. And what up, Jeremy? Thanks for being a member for 7 months. Catching up a little bit. Install Clipper from the beginning after you make an enclosure. I like it. Keela had to trump you on the 8-month club. Well, Keela is much better than you are. That's her side piece. Get out of here. I think Keela is a great person, and she's very nice.
Thanks for the sub.
And here comes Zombie with the 7-month gang. I love it. I love it. If you guys don't follow Zombie, he is actually growing a hell of a lot right now. Normally streaming over on Twitch, but I think you do some YouTube from time to time. If you don't follow Zombie, what are you doing? What are you doing? Zombie does a lot of cool things as well. He actually prints a lot more than I do. I'm printing printer parts most of the time. Yeah, trying to get all of this together, it's gonna be fun. But there is a mounting point right back here on the Z-axis. And so I'm just going to try and get everything in. Run that through. You need a pretty thin zip tie to do that. But we'll get it all through and we'll start to cinch it down a little bit, just so that we have that kind of correct. Might as well join in. Hey, thanks, Clownhammer. You're editing videos as we speak. Nice. I need to do that here in a little bit. Zombie, I think you've inspired me to make my very first edited video. Videos I prefer to stream. I like talking and flowing as we go. I don't like scripting things. And I'm just not very good at having that skill set. So I would prefer to not. However, I think I might do it, just because I need to get something off my chest and it's a good time. Zombie's a G? A little G, though. He's still young. He's like 11 teen. So not an OG, but like a little G. You have projects too. You have a Ender 3 with Prusa style extruder linear rods on the X and Z. Undercarriage front mount PSU. Undercarriage rear board mount. Underside of mainboard. That sounds awfully like a Prusa wire. But I like it. Or a switch wire in your case, I guess. Ender 3 with clipper, still work in progress. Ender 3 Max. CR10 V3 for a belt for the other Z. Okay. That was one of your victims on Saturday, her Murph death match. It was just luck that was my first set of matches. Oh, goodness. All right, I guess I could put this back on. So I took this off to have access to get in here and connect these support brackets for the DIN rails. And so I removed this and I just have not put it back on yet. So we might as well do it while we're here. The no drop nut's already in place. What is happening? Oh, it's probably too long. That's why. So that's a 10. I probably need like a 6. Sixes are hard to come by. Used so many of them on this build so far that kind of low. I need to order more. There we go. I'm still missing some skirt pieces, but I don't know that I'm going to add them. The corners already provide that little bit of pop of color. There's supposed to be a long bracket that goes here that, you know, the same color to kind of finish out the skirt. And I'm realizing as I'm talking about this that you're not seeing that. Right here. So there should be a long piece that goes across here. That's the same color as this accent part. But it doesn't totally line up. So I don't know if I printed incorrect things or how that happened, but I need to go back and revisit my Fusion file and see why my stuff doesn't match. But I need here, front, and other side. Reminds you, you also printed all the parts for the Prusa wire, but I haven't bought anything for it. Sucks being poor. Yeah, when you're poor, life gets hard, man. That's kind of how it works. So you either got to get to work or continue being poor. Yeah, there's a lot more manual labor involved when you have no money. Right. So that bundle looks good to me. We've got all the things that we need. Let's pull this back through a little bit. Yeah, I really don't know how I'm going to do that. If it's just going to be, because I could not find on initial look anything that would substitute a cable chain, but also, where am I at? This. Yeah, I couldn't find anything that I could use as a cable chain for this. And I really didn't want to do an umbilical, but I think I might have to, just with like the amount of cables. That's pretty thick. So if we're going to do that, I think I would just move this bed all the way up. So right there, it's touching the bottom of the bed carriage. I'm sorry, the tool head carriage, which is about as high up as this one's going to be able to go. And that's fine. It's perfectly fine. I just really wanted to secure this cable for the motor like up against the bottom of this. And there's not another nut in there. And I would have to like take all of this apart to be able to get one in there. I don't want to do that. Don't want to do it at all. So I'm hoping there's like a twist in zip tie mount. There's usually stuff like that on printables that I can find to put underneath the bottom. And then that'll allow me to kind of pull this up in out of the channel here a little bit, and then zip tie that up there, putting it away from the vertical lead screw, and then routing back down and through. So a couple of items that I need to find and print, but just consider this like my wiring bundle. That's what I'm going to do. I don't think there's a zip chain system out there for it. And so all of the things that we have now are just wiring underneath. And all of it is more than good to reach to the bed. And so we'll add just a little bit of slack in there. It's okay if that rubs on the back panel a little bit, but you do want to have some slack in there so that as the Z-axis moves up and down, you're not pulling tight any of these things. So there's a good amount, maybe a couple of inches. What are you looking at? Custom 3D printer. Mez. Yes, this is a SkeleFork 180, which is a small build area printer, so a 180 by 180. It's going to use a tool head that looks something like that guy right there. And this is magnetic, so this just goes on, and it's a tool changer. So this will be able to be stowed on this side, and then we got a matching one for that side. We'll be able to have two tool heads on one printer. It's what we call a tool changer. So that's the idea behind the project. This has been a labor of love. It's been fits and starts, all the things. So, all right. I'm gonna probably make this a little bit longer and trim away some of this excess here. So my main board is all the way back here. Let me adjust this down a little more. There. So my main board is all the way back here, and that's an SK Rat. That's what that is. So just enough motors to be able to function for what we need. Downside is that you need the external Pi. So I'm using a Pi V1.2 here, and then we have a couple of Nighthawk daughter boards here. What we can do though is make our lives a little easier, shorten up this wiring so that everything is roughly the same length. And so just give all of these a snip. Like that. And now it's a little more manageable. Everything still reaches the board anywhere that we need to go. So we're good to go there. These are the side fans that provide airflow across the electronics from right to left. And we could shorten these up as well. And when we crimp this back together, I'm going to put a single crimp on it versus having them be separate. These fans are 0.04 amps. So likely good to be connected together, and they'll just run at the same time instead of having two separate fans. I don't know there's that many fan outputs on here, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 fan outputs, and then 2 4-pin fan outputs. So looks like 7 total fans. Come off. There we go. Got it. All right, so we'll do just like we did before. Make sure that I can reach across to where I need to be. Add some slack in there. Do that. We'll just trim these so it's a little more manageable. And we'll connect our reds together and our blacks together. Call it good. I'm gonna hang on to some of that wiring just in case we need to extend or use it for something. I don't know. But our umbilical stuff out to the side, these two are pretty pretty easy. Let's see, a couple of things and some crimps. Yeah, you can tell it's a holiday. We have a lot of people in here that I normally don't see. Thank you guys for being here. Why is my chat's not really working? Give me 1 second, guys. I think I'm good now. Let me log out. Try to log back in here. How much of the printer is printed? I would say the majority. There are not a lot of printed parts, but definitely all the colorful stuff you see, the purple, the blue, and the yellow stuff is all printed. Anything that is black or chrome, not printed. So if you're looking for an overall percentage, I'd say maybe 25%, 30%. That's a wag though. It's hard to know exactly how much is printed. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna, man. Hold on, what is happening? Sorry, I'm trying to fix the chat. I don't know why it's not working for me. Well, here we are. I guess we got one chat window instead of two. Yeah, no meetings today? Same. Same, girl. Every day's a holiday when you retire, Kenny. I can't wait. I've got a minimum of 3 years, right? The promotion I just got means I have to stick around for a little longer. But 3 years up to 6 years if I want it. It's just, do I or do I not? Hey, Mad Al. Zombie using all the emoji. I like it. Yeah, there are a lot of custom emoji. I say a lot, but a handful. More than 2 custom emoji I made for members. But you guys don't use them, so I didn't make any more. All right. What I'm trying to do is have 2 wires be crimped into 1 wire. So when I do that, I might have to strip a little more so I can get, because the insulation on the wire tends to interfere with the crimp itself. So stripping back a little more, like I just did there, will allow you to twist these together. And then I get it, like it's not always going to grab onto the insulation. So once we twist them together, what you can do is like pull one apart. And then as you put on your crimp, you can crimp it onto the insulation of 1 wire, but then still grab the wire itself for both. So once you can do that, let's do a little crimp here. Uh-oh, dropped it. Luckily we have the inverted electronics, so most things just fall right through and they don't get stuck inside the components. But I just need to get my crimp set up. And then say put wires in here. Oh, actually, what I'm going to do is, well, yeah, we can do it. Let's do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of heat shrink on it to hold the two wires together, and that should help keep them from pulling apart. Because when two wires come together, any like separation of those wires tend to pull them apart, and it can pull it out of your crimp. So not that anything's going to be pulling on these. That's not what I'm saying. But it is good insurance. So like they just came untwisted right there, and we didn't even do anything. So twist these together. And then I'll take my heat shrink, and I hope this is big enough. It's going to be close to go over both wires together. This will keep them from trying to pull apart at least. And then as we shrink it down with some heat, we can add our crimp on and be good to go. All the emoji. That's awesome. Look at that. All 10 emoji. And keep those from pulling apart. And then our crimp should go on a little bit easier. Like that. And then one more. I don't think my head's in the way. I think you guys can still see what's going on. But there's one. And you do the same for your two negatives. So we'll probably strip these a little bit more so that we can twist together. So it seems like people are waking up. We got a lot more folks here. What are the big plans for Memorial Day? Anything? You guys get anything cool for Clee Day? We were talking about that earlier, but we had a lot fewer people here. Printed Mad Max tool changer parts yesterday. Very cool. This is going to be a Mad Max as well. What style of Mad Max are you working on there? Wind farms, yard work. Mike, I feel for you. We have people that do that. I haven't done yard work in 2 years, and I love it. I have to go back to yard work though when we move. We got a yard again, and it's on me to make sure that we're taken care of. Unless I hired it out. I don't know if I want to though. I don't mind doing yard work, but it is nice not having to do it. Frees up so much time for other stuff. So much room for activities. All right, clean that up. We're gonna do, I don't know, maybe another hour or so on this, and then going to a pool party where I can tan this, translucent skin. Probably Boron 2.4. All right. Bought the LDO Stealth Changer kit for your 2.4. Very cool. Yeah, I think a 2.4 Mad Max is a good move. I don't know how I got like two different styles mixed up in here. Two different styles of JST connection. It's pretty annoying. Rather than go through all of them one by one and figure out what is right, I'm just going to pull a bunch out until I get what I need. Maybe we throw all of them in the garbage. Got so many of those things. 30 bags of mulch. Gross. Oh, we're not forking yet? We're forking trying. We're trying to fork. This project has been a labor of love. Tulsa scan. Just going to trim the wire down, but I'm going to do that outside of the machine just in case we drop little metal, tiny metal wires. I don't want to drop those on components because then you could short something. That's an easy way to do it. So that was a little long to get all the way back to the insulation on the wire. So just trimming off the very end of those two wrapped wires helps get that on there. So we'll just make sure those are good, and they are. And then because we put the heat shrink on there, that should allow this to go into a single JST. Now, I don't know what the polarity is on this. Don't exactly remember. I think yeah, I can kind of see on the board. Positive is to the right. Oh, sorry, positive is to the left. And I'm just going to add our connection and then put it on, you know, the last possible 2-pin fan port over here. So fan port 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, fan 4. Actually, that's a... What is that? All right, I can't tell. Oh, I keep hitting it with my... Uh-oh. We lost our camera there. One sec. So SkeleFork, pin out. There's the board. And this is our pin out. So as we zoom in, yeah, so fan 3, M fan is not what we want. I think that stays on all the time. But fan 3 should be PWM controlled so we can turn it on and off. So I think fan 3 is what I'll use. That's the 4th one over. And like I was saying, the positive is on the left of that. There is some silk screening on the board that tells you information, but not for everything. Fans do have it though, so that's good. And then our workbench camera, I think I bumped it and reset it or something. So let's try and redo this. 1 second. This, deactivate, activate again. There we go. Yeah, I bumped it and hit the cable and it made it disconnect. Nice printer. Thanks, Mike. Also printing canvas CC1 top hat. Very cool. I had a CC1 for about a month. And then I let a buddy borrow it because why not? And he liked it a lot. So it lives with him now. All right, just paying attention to the way that this inserts. We said positive is on the left. So left, positive here. Come on. That, and then
thanks for the sub.
Or ground on the right. And just making sure it's in there far enough. And give it a little tug test, make sure it doesn't come off. So good there. We said the 4th one over is fan 3. And that would be that guy right there. So we do have that slack, which is good. We'll just tuck that down and away. And our fans are good to go. Almost forking now. Look at that. Mike Benar, member for 5 whole months. Thank you. Yeah, if you're already a member and you want to share your memberversary, there is in the bottom of chat, click that money symbol. And if you have a milestone membership, you can share it from there. Tulsa game, my eyes didn't focus right away, and I read that totally differently. It's my kind of humor. It is getting warm out here. I don't know what the weather's like where you guys are, but out here, it's been 95-ish degrees every day, 100% UV, some wind, not too much, but it's definitely getting hot out here. It's going to be miserable in another month or so. We're going to be looking at triple digits. All right, so that's that. We could do our thermistor for the bed. So some of these I can go ahead and do. I'm okay with. I don't fully want to. We'll just leave some extra room in there because I don't want to fully commit. I don't know exactly how much slack I want in the AB motors. So we'll stand by on those. But things like the bed and our bed fans or whatever, those are going to be static. I may reroute the cables on the motors, so I'll hold off on those specifically. Let's move some of this other stuff out of the way. All right. Bed thermistor, again, silk screening on the board tells me that is bottom row, third port over. We're getting toasty, yeah. Looks like I posted an update on Tube. Hey, thanks, Keela. Yeah, I have 2 Tube compacts and a Pika on pre-order for the better part of a year. I thought the project died and I was pretty upset. But if there's an update, hopefully it's an update that says we're shipping you your stuff. Later tonight, Boron 2.4 new belts install. Very cool. 26C. I'll take it. Mr. Kevin R, 26C is acceptable. That was us back in like April. When do I move? I move in about, what's today? The 25th of May. 40 days. 45 days. So very soon. We're gonna stream up through probably mid-June is what I'm thinking. So if today is the 25th, if I look at the calendar really quickly, it looks like we have possibly 1, 2, 3 more streams before I have to start tearing down the setup and packing it up. You want to come help me move, Clown Hammer? Is that why? It's been gross here. Gross like humidity, Kayla? Pushing a year. Same tube been on order for almost a year, yeah. Pika is coming fast. The tube, probably August. Jeez. Well, the 2 that I have are fantastic. One is in the antithesis. That's kind of like the test rig. I could just test a bunch of different hot ends or extruders, whatever. And then the other one is, what is that one in? That is on, oh, that is on the, what the hell is this project called? Keela, help me out here. The Trident with all-wheel drive from the Boron Modder. What are we calling this thing? I forget the name of it right now. Ah, geez. It's got them linear rods. It's a full-size Trident. 30-30 frame. I forget the name of it right now. I'm so terrible. Inertia Cube, thank you. 85 today and no corn humidity. Is that a thing, Wick Central? Corn humidity? Does it smell like corn? Yeah, I totally mixed these up. There's like 2 different styles of JST crimp in here. And I hate it. I hate my brain sometimes. Why did I do that? Better than winter moves? I don't know, Kenny. I would prefer a winter move. Or let's compromise. Let's say a fall move. Like a October would be great. But I've done 5 winter moves and 1 summer move to come here. We came here to California in August of, 2 years ago, 2024. And now we're leaving in July of 26. So it's going to be fun. Make sure to drink water, kids. $26C is hot for NL. Netherlands, I think that's what that means. Usually it does not go higher than 20C on a good day. It's going to be 8. Ooh, okay. Ow, my back. Sorry, can't. You're here for emotional support, Clownhammer. I appreciate it. Rain. You've done both snow and heat. Nothing like slipping on ice carrying a couch. Yep. It's no fun. Yeah, that's honestly the truth. It's never fun to move all your stuff. Unless you like doing that. Like if you live pretty light and lean, you don't have a lot of things, it's probably a lot easier. But when you get settled, like we kind of are, it sucks. Like, think about it. How do you move 23 3D printers halfway across the country? What is the best way to do that? I don't know the best way. I know how I did it coming out here. And it's crazy because we came here from Oklahoma, which is, in the center of the country. And then we're going back to the center of the country, to Nebraska. If I would have known that, I would have just put half of this stuff in storage over there and just dealt with it. But you never know. So here we are. All right, thermistor, good to go. One of our bed cables goes to our load here. And then the other one goes direct to the PSU. And if I remember right, we switched the live. Iowa Corn Belt crops increase dew point 5 to 10 degrees. Gross. Am I moving to a less taxing state or just elsewhere? Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of taxes you're talking about, Barton Fink. It's Nebraska. We currently live in California. So sales tax and those kinds of things are lower, but property taxes are much higher. Like Nebraska has some of the highest property taxes in the country. So it really depends on what you're talking about. Cost of living, day-to-day goods and services is a little bit lower than where we currently are. So for example, gas, right? That's what everybody kind of measures. Gas here today was $5.72 per gallon. In Nebraska, it's probably like $4.50, so $1 less per gallon. In their own trailer with a lot of moving blankets. Yeah, that's how I came here, and that's what I plan to do leaving. Ask Alan. Yeah, Mr. Kevin R, he did. And he documented it pretty well as well. I used some of his techniques. I'm not building crates for every printer though, like he did. I'm not gonna build crates. I'll try to make some shorts or something to kind of document it. I really don't want to do like a full length video, but maybe I'll do a short. I'm going to stand by on the bed thing until I can look that up a little bit. We'll do that in a second. Let's pull over. Which one is this? This is the bed fan. And then we can pull over the nudge, which is essentially an in-stop. So we'll keep those two separate. And after we get things routed, I can add another zip tie down here to really kind of clean this up so it's not just all over the place. That's the downside of having such a small machine. There's not a lot of cable management to be able to do. The good thing is now that we have the inverted electronics, the PhysiTech system, you can just zip tie to the grid down below and zip tie your cables that way. That is my plan. Yeah, Keela's correct there. Barton, Fink, Chad, move a lot. 60-foot truck from Texas to Ohio, that is like a freaking semi. That's what they pack our stuff in. They'll come and put all the furniture and whatever's in the house, like in boxes if you can, and then put those boxes into like a big moving crate, and then put those crates on a 60-foot tractor trailer. For these printers, though, in the streaming setup, the stuff that you guys get to see, this is probably going in a 20-foot, if I can get it. They usually don't have them and make me get a 26, but this is going in a 20-foot U-Haul or Penske or something like that, and we're going to move it DIY. All right, these are bed fans. These are going to go over here, down this way, and then we'll put it right next to the fans that are already here for side-to-side cooling, compartment cooling. Ooh, so much. Oh, you meant taxing. Oh, mentally taxing. Yes, absolutely. But this is our 7th move, and so it's not crazy taxing. You kind of get used to it after a while, as weird as that sounds. It's never fun, but you get used to not having fun from time to time, because the benefit on the other side is you get to see a new place, do a new job, meet new people, and that goodness outweighs the bad. So I try not to complain about it, but yeah, it's frustrating. But I do a lot of frustrating stuff, so you kind of get used to the suck. You helped a friend who was a record collector move. It took 3 days. Wow. Yeah, it takes 3 days for us as well, Kenny. Like 3 days to pack everything into a semi, and then we'll drive out on day 4, the morning of. Just like Oregon has no state tax and Indiana's 7%, but everything else is so much more expensive in Oregon, and they get their money one way. Yeah. Yep, that's what it is. It just depends. But the cool thing is, if you don't buy a house or own property, you don't pay property tax. So it really just depends on what you're doing. My state, as far as like pay, is Florida, and so I don't pay state tax. But all the other taxes, like consumption taxes, you have to pay those. You just smacked yourself in the face. Don't do that. Nebraska property tax may be high, but you could live in Illinois like me and have the highest property tax in the nation. I'm good. Nebraska's 2%. That's pretty high. I don't know what Illinois is, but 2% is pretty high. And you're saying you're more than that? I'm good. I'll stay where I'm at. And here's the crazy thing. If I'm paying tax, I want to get something for it. Like if I'm not getting anything for it, then that's what makes me angry. But I better have the nicest freaking roads. I better have good schools. And Nebraska does have good schools. I'll say that. They're consistently rated high where I'm going. So I think that's where a lot of the increased property taxes and stuff comes from. But I think that's a good thing. So I don't mind, because personally I benefit from that. My kids are still in school. Soon enough, you have to move to a few cities down the road, and you're not looking forward to it. Get a big printer. Yeah, moving dollies are your friend, or casters if you can figure out a way to add them. Do me a favor, guys. Like the stream, subscribe if you haven't, and then click the link in chat there so you can potentially win some LDO filament. We're going to do that giveaway here in about 10 minutes. I'm going to try to keep up with your comments in chat in the meantime. Can't find your bug zapper tennis racket? Yeah, those are a must. Gotta have it. Flow state. Thanks, John. You know nothing about Nebraska. You have to let us know how you like. I will. You guys should come down and visit. It's not too far from you. And likewise, I should go up and visit. 7 moves is a lot. I guess. I mean, compared to other people that I know who have done it as long as I have, some folks I've met have had a few more than 7. They're at like 9. Some other folks are less, like half as many times. It just really depends on what you do. Uh-oh. Screwed that one up. Let's see if it worked. Yeah, I think it worked. Not having fun starts being fun after a while. Yeah. What part of Nebraska? Clownhammer. It's Omaha, Nebraska. Yes, and I can talk about it. Omaha, Nebraska. Speaking of wasps, our new adventure is 3D printing an indoor beehive. That's cool. Indoor beehive would be cool. Wants to raise honeybees? Hey, I mean, that's a good revenue stream. Like, you guys could sell the honey and hopefully not get stung too much. But honeybees, that's cool. One of my kids asked me about that. I guess she saw like somebody on the internet had a honeybee wall. So like the hive was outside, but there was a pipe that brought them inside, and then there was like a viewing, like an ant farm. You could view the bees inside the house through like another part of the hive or whatever. It reminded me of an ant farm, but with bees. It did look cool though. There's no way I'm gonna get away with that. She would not let me do that. All right, bed fans. But even if you rent, you sort of pay for property tax in the sense rent goes up for the property owner. Yes. So Keela, we've actually negotiated that. So we're choosing to rent. We're not going to buy. And I guess that's an update for you guys. Let me come over here. That's a little bit of an update for you guys. I think it was member stream last week. It might have been the Sunday before, where I showed off the garage space that we're going to move the workshop into. That's because we were going to buy that house. Well, that did not work out. That house fell through. We're not going to do it. So now we're going to rent. The positive side of the story is that we still get an unfinished basement. And it's a little bit smaller, but that means I get the entire basement instead of having to share that with like a theater room or something like that. So touch more space. The layout's going to be a little weird, so I need to get in there and sort of move things around to see how the flow is going to be and where cameras can go and stuff like that. But it is unfinished, so I'll get to kind of design it how I want to. And we're going to rent. So you're correct in saying that, yeah, I'm going to still pay for property tax, but the bonus is we negotiated a 3-year static rent rate, so it should not increase over the 3 years that we're there or planning to be there. One of those printed hornet nests work on wasp? It could. You get taxed for schools and have no kids? Yeah. We all pay into the system, man. It's just like Social Security. I'm not old, but I pay into it. But one day I will be. Hell, they tax cow farts, don't they? They probably do. Hey, Robin. LTX, thanks for the high five. Stepbrother lives in Omaha in the summer. Seems to like it. A lot of people. Everybody that I've talked to that has been to Omaha or lives in Omaha, love Omaha. So we're excited to go. I've not heard one bad thing yet. You open after moving it 10 years ago, moving that 1,400 pounds safe was a pain. Yeah, I would hire that out. Just go rent 3 dudes for an hour to have them help you. Just rent their time. SketchUp is your friend for doing a layout. Don't know how to use SketchUp. I'd probably do it in Fusion. So it's the place you showed the other day? No, it's a different place. I don't think I got a photo. I will try and let's see if I can get one here. Hold on. Try to show you guys. That's not it. Oh, I didn't sign in. That's what's going on. It doesn't remember. Good steaks. Yeah. Oh, you're on the other side of the state. Yes, I'm on the good side of the state near Iowa. It's like maybe 10 miles when you're across the border in Iowa. We actually were looking at a couple places in Iowa. And they didn't really work out. So, yeah, the market is nuts in Omaha. I guess everybody wants to live there for some reason. There's freaking gnats in here right now. All right, let me see if I can find this house that we're renting. Nope, nope. All right, got it. Here we go. This, and then, sorry, it's just taking me a second to get all this. I'm doing this on the fly. There's not a lot of good photos for this, but it's good enough, I think, to be able to show you. All right, let me see about, let's go over here. All right, this is that space. So that's one of the shots. It's this really cool wall on the left-hand side that I could use as a backdrop, but I don't exactly know what's in front of me. It's hard for me to tell distance between that wall and whatever else is to the right. If you do live in an area with good local cattle, Omaha is just across the river from Council Bluffs. Yes, yes. We looked at a place in Council Bluffs, Wick Central, and just we couldn't find it. It didn't fit for us. So only negative you could say is the highways aren't designed right for heavy rains. October night driving wasn't fun. I bet it wouldn't be. Built-in printer shelves. That's what I said too. I was like, oh, it comes with its own shelving, so that'll be good. We already got a good start. What one thing do you guys not see though? Very important for streaming and for 3D printing. What are we not seeing? No more hot garage. Well, maybe. It's a 3-car garage still. Power. Yeah, we're missing power. So there are no outlets on the wall in this photo. And then in this one as well, I'm seeing some sort of power distribution at the back there, but I'm not seeing any power all along the wall. There's one outlet on the left side. That drywall, I believe, is the stairs that lead down into the basement. There is an outlet there, but that's it. Brick paneling, I don't know. It might actually be the wall itself. I don't really know. I haven't been there. Lots of extension cords. I mean, I can't do lots. It's only one outlet that I can see. Yeah, the basement will be hot, but I'm saying like, it's a 3-car garage. There is space in one of those bays, because if I park 2 cars in there, which is the plan, I still have the entire open bay to put this setup, this system in there. And so if the basement doesn't work out because of lack of power, lack of, I don't know, the right layout of space, I may choose to go in the garage. We'll see. I have to get there. I have to do the layout. I have to move things around and kind of feel it out. Yeah, and light. Mike is correct. It's lacking some light as well. But light's a lot easier to fix. The lighting in here isn't great either, but I just added a couple pluggable overhead LEDs and it works fine. Ethernet, that's another one. Area 51. Should be easy to add power from that junction box. Maybe. I'm not an electrician though, so I don't know how to do that. Power station as a sponsor? Dude, I would love that. Like, I need a Jackery. I need a Jackery sponsorship. One of those rechargeable boxes that can run power tools and all that kind of stuff. Just give me like 3 of those and allow me to, I don't know, use a 3D printer on it and see if I can run an entire stream off of a Jackery box. Easy to run some conduit with the panel out like that. I agree. And that's the idea. But again, this is a rental. So whatever I do either needs to be signed off on or removable. I need Jeremy. He could get you power. Yeah, I need Jeremy. Jeremy, come spend the night. Get the LED fan bulbs, light it up like daylight. Yes. So I have a couple of those. They're over there on the shelf in my stash of things and stuff. My last shop was a workshop, wood shop. And it had those like fluorescent tube lights, which put out light, but not the right color light and not the right amount of light. And so I got the screw-in like fan bulbs that you're talking about, the LED bright ones. Worked great. I just don't know how many of those are in this space. Garage gonna suck in the winter? I'll wear a jacket. Ask your realtor to do the... I did, Kenny. So we've done the virtual walkthrough. When it came to look in the basement, though, because it's like underground partially, the signal service was terrible. Choppy video, freeze framing, that kind of thing. And so we didn't spend a lot of time down there. And honestly, the video would not have changed my mind. I still probably would have went with this. I have a hard time saying, oh, the basement doesn't have enough outlets, therefore we do not want the house. I don't know if that's the right way to do it. We got to live in the house first and then separately be able to stream. This is not my full-time job. This is a hobby. Be easy to run and remove from that box, depending on how many spots are left in the panel. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I know in my brain it's easy. I don't know how. So there's a lot of YouTube in my future to learn. But cool, it is filament giveaway time. What do you guys say we do that? If you have not entered into the filament giveaway, the link is pinned in chat. Go ahead and fill that out. I'll give you guys just a couple of minutes. You figure it out. There's always a solution. There you go. I think they would be fine. Like, I'm improving the functionality of your basement. I think they would be fine with that, but I don't know. I would definitely have to ask if I'm allowed. And I know that I could probably do all of the work and run everything and connect all the conduit, whatever. I know that I could do all that. Ken Day says, let's do it. I know I can do all of that and then just have it inspected and then probably get a qualified person in just to connect it to the box. But yeah, I could do most of the rest of that. I've already been watching a lot of video, but I need to do a little bit more. Do a belly flop for us today in the pool. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to be playing with the kids. So like throwing them in the pool and that kind of thing. Now, my little one has been asking about going to the pool for like 2 weeks. And it just opened on Thursday, so we get to go now. You had to add outlets in the basement to account for all the printers and ran. Right, yeah, so that's exactly right. I need, I don't know. So that's the thing. I don't know if I need 20 amp circuits or 15. I can run more printers on a 20 amp than I could on a 15, but 15, at least in this garage, has been able to do 3 small printers or 2 large printers simultaneously. And so I probably need, by that count, 4 circuits, maybe 4 or 5 circuits. You did 20 amp. I mean, why not, right? Like, have the extra capacity. So I think I would probably need like 4 or 5 20 amp circuits if I wanted to connect everything and run everything. Realistically, 3 and 4 would be nice. Still US only though, right? Yes, still US only, unfortunately, Joel. LDO has not told me that I'm able to gift away filament outside of the US. You can wire these 3D printers, I'm good. I know, I'm just saying right now I don't have the knowledge, but I'm definitely able to figure it out. I'm very mechanically inclined. I just need to practice and learn and those kinds of things. 4 printers per 20 amp, depending on the printer. Your 2 largest run on 1 20 amp. Yes, Corey, that's what I'm saying. My 350 and maybe something like the Rat Rig, right? The 300 larger printers probably only going to be able to do 2 per circuit. The smaller ones like the SkeleFork we're working on, I can do 3 without issue. So depending on how I lay that out, and again, I'm not playing with every printer all the time, having them connected all the time. So 4 outlets would give me anywhere from 8 to 20 printers, depending on how I set it up. Each printer on a single UPC. Okay. And that just kind of helps with the load. Is that what you're saying? 4 printers per 20 amp, depending on the printer. Okay. Yeah, I'll look into all of that. I appreciate it. And maybe I have some questions for you later on what UPC you recommend. Let's switch over and do some, what's it called? Wheel of Names. If you're not already in the filament giveaway, you are about to lose your place. So get in there and do it. I'm seeing 48 people right now. 48 lovely people. Is that everybody? Do we got all of you are here? I'll refresh once. Still seeing 48. Okay. So we're going to press and close the giveaway. Turn that off and save. All right. If you didn't make it in, I'm sorry. You'll have to come back next week and try again. Petty, again, always number 1. I like it. And Cragord, last person. Like it. And put your names in. There you go. How's that? You're actually here for this draw? Yeah, dude, I think you won last week and then you weren't here and I had to give it away. You got to do better. I expect so much better from you. The bar is way too high for you to be pulling these shenanigans. Each printer is on a single UPC. APCs, 2200s times 2, just for the power saving, especially in the winter. Nothing worse than losing power. Yes. Yeah, that's one thing I have not done is invest in UPCs. I really should. I should be better than that. We can't all be great. You won before, so you pass. Hey, that's fair. If you don't need filament, please don't enter. I don't need filament, so I don't enter anymore either. Ken Davis says 12 though. Well, there goes the luck. Petty's here. I don't know. You got distracted by chores. Don't we all? Ken Davis said we should spin it 12 times though. What do you guys think? Is 12 enough? Should we go 12? 47 people need to withdraw your entry so that I can win some filament. Colin Hammer said sure. How about this? How many people have liked the stream? Whatever that number is, let's go with that number. I'm seeing 59 people here, which is fan-freaking-tastic. $15, $25 for Clee Day. Mad Al, you know what? It is Clee Day. It's Memorial Day as well. Let's go 25 times. You did. You see 10 likes. 33. Okay. 33 likes. That's good. That's half. Let's do 25 because it is Clee Day. I agree with Mad Al here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good luck. Who's it going to be? You see 3, but you were here before the stream even started. Robin, I love that. Thanks. R squared K3D. I know they were here earlier. Are you here now? You have 69 seconds to say something in chat. Tag me so that I see your message. Your stream is laid back. Nice. Aw, thanks, Kenny. I try to be. I'm a laid back kind of person. I don't take myself too seriously at all, and so I'm not going to take the stream too seriously. That may not be for everyone, and I appreciate you as well, but it works best for me, and I'm glad to get the feedback. I appreciate it. So close, yeah. You might actually be in if R squared doesn't speak up. There he is. All right. R squared. This is how it works, okay? I'm going to send your information over to the team at LDO. They're going to reach out to you for your address because I don't want to be responsible for it. You're going to tell them what color you want, and they're going to ship it to you. Only thing that I ask is that if able, you tag me in a photo of whatever it is that you print with the filament that you want. And if they don't reach out to you in a couple of days to get your request, I screwed up. Let me know. I'll fix myself, okay? Congrats. Said great. I love it. Giving thanks to all those that gave all. Correct. Correct. But also Clee Day. We looked at a little bit of that on one website. But there are a ton more. I saw Fabrico's doing stuff. Ishix Tech is doing stuff. Polymaker, and for filament. XR Bunker is doing stuff. Doc Mercy is doing stuff. If you're into stickers and want some custom stickers, he hooked me up with a ton of custom stickers for me and my channel. And so highly recommend that guy. There's a ton of stuff. I would just go to the Voron Discord, look in their announcement section, and you'll get your list of vendors there that are doing sales. So if you need some stuff, today is the day. This is like Black Friday in the 3D printing space. And keep in mind, everybody else has the same idea. So if you're really hot for something, I would go get it and not waste time because it might be sold out. Where are the end stops? Where am I trying to go? So there is an extruder detection. I think I want to use that because Z end stops will be for, that'll be open. We don't have a Y stop. We do have an X stop. But again, I think that's going to go through the umbilical. So I'll use the run out detector. I think that makes sense. Actually, no, it's for nudge. We're going to use the Z stop. That does make sense. We'll use the Z stop. On this board, it's difficult to see, but the row of connections to the right, just in front of the EXP connectors, where you would connect a mini 12864 screen, Z stop is the second one from the bottom. Flag is out. There you go. Yeah, we keep ours out all year long. And then I get to wear it on my clothes all the time too. All right, pinout says, let's see. Pinout does not tell me what the pinout is. Same here. Yeah, I love it. Reset the view. SKRat. Where is like the end stop? Ooh. All right, here we go. So looking at this, our Z stop is over here. So 5 volt and ground are the top ones. I just need ground and a signal. There should be no voltage going to it. And so it'll be the Bottom in the middle. Love it. I can do that. Try to fly it all the time if the wind isn't too crazy. Dude, the wind is absolutely nuts out here, and I think we have to replace it every year just because it gets torn up. But, you know, it's fine. It is definitely windy out here, though. That was the first thing that we noticed moving here was how windy this place is. And I think that has to do with just being the desert and how things get hot here, but also cold at night. And so it creates like convection currents and stuff. But then also, like, we're surrounded by a ring of mountains. And those mountains are pretty close to the coast. I mean, LA is only like an hour and a half from here. So, wind comes across the ocean, hits the mountains, goes up high, falls down into the valley where we are. And I think it drives the wind currents nuts. I really got to sort out all these incorrect connection pins here. You almost pulls the holder off the house. Holy crap. Brisket is ready to forgive me if you die. Yeah. I'm jealous, man. I would love some brisket right now. I'll probably go for another 30 minutes or so in wrap stream because I'm getting hungry. You're on the plains, not much to slow the wind down. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I didn't know they had many plains in Colorado, though. We're actually driving that way, dude. I think we're going through Denver on our way out of here. I think that's the plan right now. It really depends. I heard that route was pretty mountainous, and I don't want to take a U-Haul with a 26-foot U-Haul with a car trailer towing a car through like a mountainous path. I think we might have to go down like through Arizona and then back up because I don't want to deal with the inclines and stuff. So this is a 3-pin connection, so I'm going to use a 3-pin JST. And it goes there, and we said it was the middle one and the bottom one. So middle is ground. Ground for me is always going to be black because that makes the most sense. Sometimes it's green if I'm dealing with mains, but for in stops and stuff, black is almost always ground. And that's how I wire it. And then bottom will be our signal. In this case, that's going to be red just based on the wire that we used. And that'll go in that bottom one. So now my 3-pin has an extra place for another wire if I change in stops for any reason. So that goes there. Cool. You may have just woken up again. Hey, Liz. I didn't catch your stream after dark last night, but how did it go? I hope it went well. I think it was funny. People were asking, like, is it 18 plus and what are we talking about and all that. That's pretty funny. I think anytime you add after dark to your title, that's the connotation. But I was unable to make it. I apologize. All right. What else do we have? You're on the plains, not much to slow it down. Saw that, yep. 30 miles east of Denver, okay. If I go that way, I may reach out to you just to say hi. After dark was music request galore. Okay. So it's dance party. I missed it. I like a good dance party. Colorado has some wicked high elevation roads but no guardrails. Yes, and I'm not really excited for that. It's closed. What's closed? John Doe, what are we talking about? You play with the panda treat. Learned it transfers onto your tongue. Okay. I don't want to really ask how you found that out. Are you saying like transfers from the food to your tongue? Is that what we're saying? Because like I can imagine like putting your face under there and having it like print on the tongue. I don't want to encourage that. That sounds like a bad idea. Yeah, lick the food. Okay, good. Lick the food. Okay, I want to double check how we're doing our mains wiring. And I know that there's a bunch of different things to do that, a bunch of different ways. But we can look at mains wiring v2.4 and just copy the homework of LDO. Not doing any of that. So we'll do the below deck doing inlet and PSU. So that makes sense. 24 volt and build plate. Here we go. So we're going to copy the homework here. So the blue is the bed thermistor. We've already connected that directly to the main board, which is great. Your bed heater has the two wires coming off. One goes into the SSR. The other one goes direct to the blue portion here, which looks like the live. Oh, sorry, not the live. Bed L into the heat pad to load one on the SSR. Neutral blue to the terminal. Mrs. and you get a tattoo on your forehead? Not happening. We got these. I don't know if I ever showed this one, but we got these right here. She has the girly version of this one, and they connect. Those are our tattoos. But yeah, we're gonna copy this homework here to be safe. And so it looks like one comes in, goes to part one, the other one goes over to blue, and it looks like blue is neutral. And then we'll take number 2 from the SSR over to live. I don't have the terminal blocks, so we're going to bypass that and just go directly to the live on the power supply. So, fork terminals, need some of those. I have a crap ton because I had to buy 100 just to use 4 of these smaller ring terminals. And I think they will fit onto our power supply. Gotta double check, but I think they will. So I'm just take one out and double check here. Get a screwdriver. And we're going to live, and we're going to neutral. So I'm just going to take the screw out of the terminal, and then double check that these ring terminals I have will work, and they do. They're small enough. The screws are small enough to be able to pass through the ring. So I'm just going to use the ring. And then for the SSR, I think that's a larger lug, but it might work. So we'll double check that. Yeah, so that's not going to work. The screw is too big for the terminal, so we have to use forks here or larger ring terminals. Let me see what I have. I know that I am out of ring terminals for small wire, but I do have a couple of larger ring terminals. So the diameter of the hole, the internal diameter of the hole on this one, a little bit larger, and that will fit through there. So we're going to go that route. So using some larger ones for our SSR. Actually, I'm going to use these blue ones. Use the blue ones instead of the red. These are slightly larger to give us a little bit of wiggle room. You gotta first start and go off on you over a tattoo. Then again, it was in 7 cab, unlike the Air Force. Well, here's the thing. That's the first sergeant's job. I'm the equivalent of your sergeant major. And so imagine if I saw an illegal tattoo, what would happen? We usually don't run into stuff like that, but our guidelines are a little more strict. Okay. So from there, we'll go to number 1 on our SSR. So that one should be about, and it doesn't matter which one of these white wires is which. It's just a circuit anyway. But we're going to keep this because we're going to use it as a jumper to go from the opposite side over to the power supply. So don't throw that one away. Normally, something like this type of stripper does not work too well with these insulated fiberglass wires, because when you try to do it, it just kind of frays all out like that. It's probably not the easiest to see. Let's see if we can get you down in there. Do this, and then we'll go get you a little closer in there. You can kind of see how that white wire is a little bit frayed with that fiberglass insulation on the outside. And for the most part, that's not a big deal, but it does make it look a little messy. And so what I do is I'll take my flush cutters and I'll just trim off some of this extra fiberglass frayed portion here to clean it up a little bit. And then you can do a little bit of heat shrink on there to make it nice. I've got a bunch of different colors, but I think I'll use, grab this. I think I'll use, let's see, blue is too small, black. I've got some clear stuff, so let's use that. We have our clear heat shrink. That way the wire will stay white. And I don't need very much, so I'm gonna just cut this tube in half. It'll be good enough for both wires that we're about to do. And I can slip this over, do our terminal. So blue one for the ring terminal here. Let's give those a little twist. And we need our other crimper to make sure this crimps correctly. So this big Johnny here, I don't like these very much. This style of crimper, not a fan. And we talked about tools earlier. I need to get a better tool for this. Okay, this is not working out. Let's put this in here first. See what I mean? It's just not user-friendly. Fighting with it just to get it to be where I need it to be. Okay, so like that. And we'll slip this back on to our wire. And send her home. There we go. Again, tug test here, good to go. To keep that from fraying, I can just put that heat shrink on there a little bit and torch it. Not required. With the ring terminal like that, there's a little bit of a plastic piece that covers it up. So realistically, what I should have done is just crimped it first. I'm sorry, heat shrunk it first before I crimped it. And so we'll do that on the next one at least. There's with a ring terminal like that, there's really no way that that's going to come off of there. Even if it does get loose over time, the ring terminal will prevent that from falling off. All right, for our other wire though, this one goes direct to our blue terminal, which is neutral. So that's neutral over here on the power supply itself. And I realize I swapped these two. So if blue is neutral, that should be there. And that should be there. All right, we're going to go on top of this one. So this guy here, the long one, blue terminal over to neutral. Don't ask me anything. I just glued my chameleon model with his arms on backwards. What? Oh, that happens, especially when you don't get enough sleep. I would have done the same thing yesterday. I was wrecked yesterday. I'm so happy that I made the decision to stream today versus yesterday. I came home at, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I think I spent like an hour awake and immediately crashed again. I was just so tired. Crashed again for a couple of hours, and then I still went to bed early last night. I think I went to sleep at like 8:30. Okay, good to go. Do it like that. And this time I'm going to do it right. I'm going to add on my heat shrink first. We'll shrink that down to keep the fraying from getting any worse. And then we can add our crimp terminal. Because it's going to the PSU, I can use the smaller of the ring terminals. I'm just going to put that on the red side of things. And that will go to our neutral line. Yeah, that's what it says. Bed in to the heat pad to a neutral blue terminal. I'm not using a terminal, so it should go directly to neutral. Just double, triple checking myself here because I don't want to mess this up. Dealing with mains is dangerous. That's what they say. It's dangerous. All right, I think the plastic housing on the terminal, though, is screwing up the alignment of the fastener. So I'm just going to trim off some of the plastic on the terminal itself. And I think that'll allow it to clear the housing of the power supply here. Yeah, there we go. So just make sure our other terminals are correct because we're stacking these. There's only ground, neutral, and load in on this UHP power supply. Woo, there we go. All right, got that one. Great. So neutral's in, that's in. We just need one more for the SSR, and that'll come back over to our live side of our power supply. So this one's going to be a little bit easier because I get to do it outside of the printer. We'll do the same thing. We'll get some clear heat shrink and trim this up. So another way to do it, I could probably show this a little easier now that we're outside the printer. You could strip it with the wire strippers, or you can just take your flush cutters, and if you're gentle enough, add some pressure and spin the wire while you're turning your flush cutters. It'll cut through that sheathing, and then you can just do it like that. So it just depends on how much space and what tools you have available, etc., etc. But you can definitely do it without fancy tools. You're welcome. Got to be careful you don't cut into the wire though, like the actual conductors. So I like to push the heat shrink all the way down so that the frayed portion comes back out, and then as I go back up, it'll contain those frays under the heat shrink. So as that shrinks down, now it's not going to fray anymore. I can get my large blue terminal, ring terminal, put that on there like so, and we'll get it lined up with this. All right, so this tool sucks. Put the terminal in the clampers first. And we'll put our wire in and send her home. And give her a tug, and we're good to go. All right, that should go on the other side of our PSU. So I'm just lay that in and measure out and give it a decent radius. And we'll trim that to there. And this is why we saved our extra cut off pieces so that we can make this little pigtail. All right, we'll put on our heat shrink first, and then I'll trim this down using the same thing I did before. So just adding pressure, twisting to cut through. Yank that off. His elbows are facing forwards. That's okay. Not all of us are perfect. All right. Small black terminal here. Actually, again, put this in the tool first. Wire in. Good to go. Now we have our pigtail. So again, I'm gonna take this all the way out. Going through our large blue terminal, and then back in. Close that cover to keep our piggies safe. And then over to our power supply. I'm going to go under the existing stuff. And just like before, I should probably trim this because I think I'm going to run into the same issue. Just trim this connector a little bit. Just putting like a chamfer on the plastic piece, it's interfering with the plastic on the power supply that separates the different terminals. So I'm just doing what I got to do here. Yep, and that works great. There, so technically we are switching the live, which is what we want to do, through our SSR. So as the bed is commanded to power on, it will either open or close this SSR, sending live power into the bed and then back down to neutral. So you definitely want to make sure you got that correct. Don't want to be messing around with mains power. So using a good source like we did, like the LDO example on how to do a 2.4 is always a good thing to have up. Even if you've built plenty of machines before, I still try to bring up that information to have it readily available. All right, kids. I think that's enough wiring for today. About what, 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours of doing some wiring. We're pretty damn close. I need to get some stuff sorted up top with wire routing for the AB motors, and then these will come down and just connect into our motors over here. So I can go ahead and, ooh, I lost track of which motor was which. Hold on. Let's do it this way. So this one, which one is that? Okay, so this one is our B motor. So I'm just going to separate the individual wires out. When I cut these off, I kept the connection with the colors in there. And I'm just going to match it in the same order. That way I don't have to worry about motors being like buzzing or out of phase. If they're inverted, that's easy to fix. We can do that in firmware. But if they're out of phase, that is a rewiring. So you have to depin and then repin. A lot less fun to do that. What can we do here? We can do A motor, B motor, labels. We'll see if I can crimp these. Not exactly sure how many folks are still hanging out, but appreciate you guys for being here and supporting. Let's do B mode, A mode. Oh, did I run out of, I think I might have ran out. Yeah. Well, good thing we have more. Said hi. Hey, Salvatore. I think we're out of heat shrink label. I've got some, it's tape. Got some yellow. Let's do some yellow. Okay, let's backspace that, print that. Okay. Trim it up, and we'll get these labeled real quick. All right, so B motor is always going to be on our left when we're talking about Voron style Core XY. Some of the other Core XYs that have motors in the front or use a different belt path, they may be different. But for this, it's pretty consistently B is on your left. Come on. This heat shrink is just big enough for these motors. These wires are, there we go. All right. So I guess we can crimp these really quick since now we kind of know what we need to do. And there's enough slack to do whatever change we need to do. I'm already in wiring mojo, so why not? I was going to try to do 4 at a time. That's probably a bad idea. We'll do 2 at a time. And get our crimps out. Yeah, I really need to sort these out. I mixed them so bad. It's terrible. I almost just want to dump it out and start from scratch. Right. Yeah, it's definitely getting warm in here. I'm glad we're wrapping soon. So I think next week we could probably get around to firmware. I need to pick up an SD card. Got one SD card, but I need one for the Pi and I need one for the main board. So I got to remember to do that this week. So I think even if I wanted to, I couldn't do firmware today. All right, good to go. Now, I'm just going to match the terminal we cut off, the JST we cut off, match the colors to a new one. And they gave me so many different connections in this kit that we could go black or white. I think I like the white one because you can see it in a dark space, like where to grab. The connections on the board are black, and so the contrast helps you find it a little easier. But we're going to match the same thing. So oriented the same way with the locks on one end, and then it looks like these go... Actually, let's flip this because it's backwards. That. So we've got black on the end, and then green next to that, and then red next to that, and then blue on the other end. Great. There's our B motor. I'm gonna go ahead and add that in into the board, and you can see there's a lot of extra slack there. Let's get this last one done. Go ahead and wrap up stream. So if anybody's still hanging out, any questions or things you want to talk about as we go ahead and wrap stream, now would be a good time. I think I did pull out enough. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, just feeding face. I know, I want to get to feeding my face as well. Yeah, wiring is one of those things, like it's a necessary evil. I don't always like, it's like soldering. Soldering on stream is, I don't know, boring to me, I guess. But it's one of those necessary things you have to do to finish a project. And there's a skill set to be learned there, you know. Wiring is kind of the same. Boring, but a skill set that you got to use, you got to learn. Okay, Fegley, happy Memorial Day. Hopefully you're doing something fun. It's Florida, so I know there's a lot going on. for Memorial Day. That's all you guys do is drink and party for every holiday. Soldering is fun. I don't know about that. You're over it already. Soldering 1,024 addressable LEDs today. Ooh. What project is that? That sounds like you could almost make an LED wall with that many LEDs. Should have smoked more corn. You have to do that. Dude, I have never even thought about smoking corn. That's a great idea. How far are you away from Omaha? Like, you seem to know the area a little bit. We may have to link up, smoke some brisket and corn together, and build a printer or something. Ooh, I totally forgot to put my shrink wrap on here. No worry, my mistakes are a learning objective, so probably not going to be able to have crimps on the wires and get all 4 of them through this size of heat shrink, but that's okay. We can get 2 or 3 of them through. The label still remains on the wire, and we don't have to worry about having unlabeled wires. So even with crimps on, you get 1 in, and then you can move things, get the other crimp in there. So we'll just have it on half of the wires, and it'll still be labeled like that. So go this way, we'll get our black on the end. Not sure if you do that, but if you do, it's a reminder to unpin the giveaway. Yes, you're correct. I totally forgot. Thanks for the reminder. You're on the other side of Iowa. Ooh, wow. But you get around a lot. Gotcha. Used to race motorcycles a lot at a track outside of Council. Oh, there's a track over there? I am also a motorcycle rider, and I miss, because when we lived in the East Bay of California, I rode almost year-round. And here we have, what is it, Willow Springs, it's about 30 minutes from here. 35 minutes from here. And so if I can find another track, I'd be interested in doing some of that. All right, we are wiring mostly complete. Again, I don't plan to run a screen on this. It'll be headless, so there's no screen wiring to do. I do need to run cables for our Nighthawks down to the daughter boards. But again, I have to figure out a way to secure those to the rear crossbeam on the machine. Mid-America Motorsports. I'll look it up. Thanks for that. You need to dust off your smoker. Not used for 3 years and not cheap. Bluetooth and a phone app? What smoker is that? Holy crap. So 2 cables from our, what are these? Nighthawk daughter boards from here up through, I think I need to figure out a way, because there's clearance between the gantry and the rear crossbar, and you can't see that. Move you up a little bit. So, and then let's tip you up a little bit. So there's some room back here. So we can mount flush to the front of this extrusion 2 of those Nighthawk cables, and then kind of come up and over, and the tool heads to be mounted to the front vertical extrusion. Bed wiring is good. I do want to do something a little different with our motor wires. I want to pull them up off of the lead screw back here. And so I left them a little bit long, but that's okay. We can manage those later. So I'll do that. tool head wiring goes on. And again, I want to just start with the single tool head. I think that'll be the easiest. And then we can add in, firmware-wise, some of the other stuff. And I'm seeing that's already going to be an issue. So as this bed comes down, with those motor wires secured like that where I have them, you could see them getting taut. Bed wire doesn't matter. So we're going to definitely have to do something different with these motor wires. So I'm glad I'm talking myself through this. But anyway, tool head goes on, makes the connection, and we're damn near ready for some firmware at this point. I like it. Pit Boss. Oh, Mid-America Motorplex. Got it. To monitor temps, Pit Boss pellet grill. All right. I've never had a pellet grill, but I hear they're fantastic. Damn near forking. We are almost forking. I think that's going to find its way into one of the titles of one of these streams, is Now We're Forking, or some play on words like that. Thanks for the idea there, Tulsa Skin. Oh, I didn't show this off yet. Check out this ruler. So I got this scale, or ruler, whatever you prefer to call it. It's got metric one side, imperial the other, but it is 5 millimeters thick. It's a 5 millimeter thick aluminum ruler. I want to say it was like $11, and she's beefy. But look at that. I haven't really used it yet, but I forgot I had that sitting in here. All right. Well, folks, it's called I-29 Speedway now. Drag strip and a road course. Okay. I don't do very much drag stuff, but a road course sounds fun, especially in a place that is known to be so flat. Having a course to be able to go to every once in a while makes motorcycle riding more fun. So just cleaning up a little bit here. But I appreciate all of you hanging out today and shooting the breeze on Memorial Day. Don't forget, it is CLE Day as well. So if you need things and stuff, go to any of your vendors. There are plenty of codes that'll get you a discount and that kind of thing. My personal one is at West 3D, and it's Killer Prince with an underscore in between. All of those links should be in the description if you want to help out the channel. It's flat. Very flat. Yeah, I'm aware. Having been in Oklahoma, I get it. I really do. But cool. I think the majority of the wiring is complete. And Rhett shows up right on time to wrap stream. I appreciate it. We got most of the wiring done today. Just a couple of umbilicals, and I need to reroute some motors. But other than that, should be pretty close to start working on firmware and things like that. Like I said, I've got probably 3 streams left, 4 if I push it. It really depends on when they're coming to pack us up. But I think in 3 streams we can figure out some firmware, and I want to reserve 1 stream to be able to print with this. So we may not get all the way through Mad Max. That is the goal. That's where I aim, but we'll see. Got in at the end. Hey, Maker Viking, thanks. But you're here. You're here for the closeout. So like, sub, all those things. But you guys enjoy your Memorial Day. I'm gonna go swimming for a little while. We'll see y'all next week on Sunday, all right? Bye, everybody.